Are you in that black vehicle?
Yes.
And was that you ducking?
Yes.
And then you, in the grassy area, where everybody's car is in that grassy area?
Yes.
And I'm gonna stop Your Honor at 1 minute.
At some point, did you have to talk to, investigators about what occurred that day?
Yes.
And did it ultimately, kind of conclude your involvement with what occurred that Thursday?
Yes.
Of course, it's always going on. All right, we have any questions from the witness?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Look.
Sorry, Mr. Johnson, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. My name is Keith Adams. I just have a couple of questions for you. Because you were there that day, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your observations from that day, okay?
Okay.
Now, and if, I'm going to recount some of your testimony and make sure I got this correct. So, I hear that you've been with APD, I think you said 17 years, right?
Yes.
You were a gang investigator at some point, true?
Yes.
You were with the FBI at some point.
Yes.
You were detailed to ATF, if I heard you correctly.
Yes.
All right. You were familiar, at least on February 7th of 2022, you were familiar with this guy named Christian Ettinger.
Yes.
Okay. And so when you received notification or call about the fact that APD officers were looking for Mr. Ettinger, you decided to go and assist. Officer Aspinall.
Yes.
Okay. And what you knew when you were going down there to assist was that there was a warrant out for the arrest of this guy, Mr. Ettinger, right?
Yes.
Now, although you've been in the gang unit, it wasn't what you knew about him being wanted with the robbery that he was alleged to have committed. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So that is the offense that you were aware that you were going down there to assist in apprehending for. The Chevron down at 221 Cleveland, and that is where you first saw Mr. Ettinger.
Yes.
He was by himself.
No, there was a group of probably 8 to 10 people at that. Yeah.
He was standing in front of the store.
Yes.
Okay. And at some point he walked away from the store, and you saw that.
Yes.
Okay. And he walked away by himself, correct?
Yes.
And I presume you saw the video. If you didn't see the video, you mentioned seeing him interact, is your word, with someone at the gate going into the complex, true?
Yes.
Right. And I think I saw this correctly, and maybe your memory is better than mine, but it was pretty empty out here that day, on the streets.
In the apartment complex?
The apartment
Yes.
complex, right.
Yes.
And in fact, the last video that we saw, the only one that you were showing, where you were looking down that driveway, we see your vehicle, and we see the interaction at the far end. You don't see anyone else out there in the complex, do you?
No.
Okay. And so, in fact, when you see him having to interact with this guy at the front gate, called in, and coming into effect the arrest for this robbery.
Correct.
Right? There wasn't anyone around him.
No.
There wasn't anyone who seemed to be advising him to do anything, helping him with anything that he himself, by himself, was doing on that day, at that moment.
Correct.
Okay. And so when you saw him fire and shoot at Officer Rogers, who was just doing his job, Mr. Eppinger appeared to be doing that all by himself on his own. True?
Yes, Christian Eppinger fired the gun by himself.
And then Christian Eppinger, you got out, you engaged because you see this guy who is obviously committing a crime, firing on one of your officers, and you intended to make sure he was no longer a threat. He wouldn't hurt your officer anymore, he wouldn't hurt you. He needs to be taken into custody, right?
Correct.
And he fired back at you,
Correct.
and then he ran off. In the video, he runs around the corner from where you are. Is that accurate?
Yes.
There doesn't appear to be anyone who's helping him or soliciting him or aiding him to get away. He's doing all this all by himself.
At the time, I didn't know.
Okay. Well, there wasn't anyone else around, right?
Oh, no.
Naturally, you stayed and you assisted and rendered aid to Officer Rogers, correct?
Yes.
And other officers came in and ultimately ended up effectively arresting Mr. Eppinger.
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Sergeant Johnson, I just have a couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how long the warrant has been out for this guy, Mr. Epinger's arrest?
Not off the top of my head.
Had you all, when I say you all, had any of the APB team formed any huddle or meeting to decide when this particular arrest was going to get made?
So I remember, I'm going off memory. For at least 2 to 3 weeks prior, I remember there was a lot of discussion about apprehending Eppinger.
Okay. Was there a lot of discussion with a group of APB officers?
Within the gang, yes.
Okay. Any particular reason on this particular day, only one officer decided to get out and effectuate his arrest as opposed to a group of officers?
No. And that's not normally the case where one officer would have been affecting that arrest.
Is it fair to say that that was not protocol?
Oh, it's protocol. I mean, we arrest people all the time by ourselves. I mean, that's how Atlanta PD's always done it. Like hindsight 2020,
Right.
we should have had 5 or 10 people there. Obviously, he was willing to shoot it out with the police. We definitely wanted more than one. But it wasn't a violation of protocol.
I understand, but you all had huddled at some point prior to that day about this particular individual, Mr. Eppinger, correct?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, thank you.
Any other defense questions?
No, Your
Anyone else involved in armed robbery for which Mr. Epinger's arrest warrants?
Objection, confrontation clause violation.
What issue?
I remember he had a co-defendant in that case. I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
And was that individual also associated with YSL?
Yes.
Was the individual
Objection. Yes,
on cross-examination, you were asked, whether or not, did you see anyone advising Mr. Eppinger about this shooting? Do you remember being asked that question?
Yes.
Or did anyone else aid him or abet him? Do you remember that line of questioning?
Yes.
As a gang unit investigator, have you had training as a gang investigator?
Yes.
You said you were in the unit for 10 years?
Yes.
As an investigator in a gang unit, did you find that sometimes
I'm going to object to the question. He's not